Hey everybody, we're back. It's time for episode 4 of my Hal Leonard Guitar Tab Method beginner course. We're going through this Guitar Tab Method book page by page, detail by detail to give you your guitar fundamentals. Let's get to today's page. If you're new to the channel and you haven't watched any videos before and you're brand new to the guitar, you should go back a few videos and start from the start. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Today, we're looking at more riffs. So you remember from last time, we had the E string and the A string going. We've learned quarter notes. We've learned time signatures and bar lines. On this page, they're going to show us a new time signature. There's not going to be too many of these new ones, but here's the most important one, 3/4. The next two riffs are written in 3/4 time, and this means that there are 3 beats in each measure, and a quarter note still receives 1 beat. So when we play, for example, My Name is Jonas, we have to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, as we go. It's very important that we don't go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's just 4/4 where we've extended the third note. So there is no time allotted for a 4th beat in any of these measures if we're in the 3/4 time signature. Moving on, Malaghanya is a traditional Spanish piece, and this one's also in 3/4. Unlike My Name is Jonas, this one has more notes per bar. It also has a really cool, unresolved kind of feel to it. Never feels like it's done. The proper way to finger this one, we should look again at our 4-finger method here, where we want to make sure that at any given moment we can cover the next few notes with our 4 fingers. So I would recommend having your ring finger on the 4th fret, your pointer finger on the 2nd fret, or at least ready to drop in. Then your first 2 bars are under control. You could stay in that position and play open 3 and 2 on the A string there in the 3rd bar. Then finally in the last bar, move over 1 space to get your pointer finger in position to play that 1st fret note. You can do that while you're playing the first beat of that bar. Watch as I approach the 4th bar. I moved right there. I moved while I was playing the open string, got my hand ready for the next spot. This doesn't always come up as a shortcut in guitar, but it comes up often enough that you should know to look for it and exploit that shortcut when you can. There's another new thing on this page, and that is the half note. So the half note lasts for 2 beats. So not half of a note, but half of a measure. 2-beat long note. It fills the time of 2 quarter notes, and in tab, a circle surrounds the tab number and is attached to our vertical quarter note stem. So when we see a note with a vertical stem, and nothing else on the stem, but the note itself is circled, we have a half note that is worth 2 beats. So they show us here the count underneath the beats. Notice that, even visually we see that beat 2 exists in time, but we're not articulating a note with our pick at that time. We're letting one ring that we already played on the first beat. Now you can count your quarter note count all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can go 1, 3, 1, 3. But I will admit that while I'm doing that, I am definitely tapping my foot to mark the silent passing of beat 2 and beat 4. But the main thing is that we need the pulse of 1, 2, 3, 4 to be constant through underneath the music, even when we're not playing a note on every one of those beats. We still want to count them internally. The more we do this as musicians, the more we build up our internal metronome. And when you reach a certain level of experience, you can just hear a couple of beats and be right on beat with it. It becomes easy to keep a steady tempo. Counting aloud really helps this because it gives you something physical to relate to. If I'm slow on my playing, I'll hear it in my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to feel myself pause there. So here they've given us Canon and D, the classic graduation music. They give us a fairly lengthy tab here compared to the other ones. We've got the first 4 measures on half notes, and then it switches to quarter notes. But we can notice, if we look at the tab, and we do want to practice looking at tab critically, that we're still progressing the same notes in general. We're going from 5th fret A to 5th fret E. Now there's 2 of them in a row, but we're still doing the same progression of notes. 2 and 2 on the A and E. There's same pattern continues throughout. As we do this, we want to note that the tempo doesn't fluctuate. I'll count my 1, 2, 3, 4s as I play this. Notice that I don't speed them up or slow them down as we get there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the tempo didn't change. The speed of the notes changed, or the duration of the notes changed. Moving on, we have 2 more songs on this page. We've got a real banger here, Electric Funeral from Black Sabbath. So if you're an electric guitar player, this is the kind of riff you want to play, a monster riff. Now, they have given a very slightly simplified version of the riff here, and I'll discuss that in a second. Our book has us playing which sounds pretty Black Sabbath-y, but the real one, listen to the last 2 notes. The real performance, they cut short the 3rd note and they elongate the 4th note, so that 0, 3, instead of being a steady, is now a rushed. The reason they did it this way is that we're not ready in the book for the notation for all that yet. We would see that sequentially in a later book, but they've given us a fairly playable riff here, and we can just know as guitar players that we want to rush those last couple of notes to dig in the same style that Black Sabbath would have played the riff. We want to sustain our notes here. If we have our electric guitar, we want to have our distortion tone turned on, and we want those notes to breathe. Let them all ring out. Don't worry about muting them down or keeping them under control. We want to hear that fuzz. Of course, we want to be able to repeat the riff. That's fairly important on a groovy kind of riff like a Black Sabbath song. Make sure you can get comfortably back to the first note right where you feel it should be. The last thing on the page looks like a made-up song. It's copyrighted to Hal Leonard, not to some artist, but it might be a sound-alike of something that I just haven't figured out yet. But we have a cool groove, and I think the real reason it's here is that they want to show us the new things on the page combined. We've got a 3/4 timing, and we've got a half note in the riff. 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3 1. So it's a little bit of a lopsided feeling groove. That often happens with 3/4. It feels like it's kind of rushing ahead of itself or falling behind itself, and that's part of the appeal of hearing music in 3/4. So it's important to, you don't have to become obsessed with 3/4 or time signatures, but it's important to note the different feels that result from playing different time signatures. Definitely you get a different result on the dance floor. So that concludes today's page. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're new here, please like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep on doing this stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.